Hi, and welcome to the Wholesale Investor Virtual Investor Showcase. Today, we are going to be featuring 9 companies from a range of sectors that are right in the spotlight for investors at the moment in terms of focus and interest. The reason why we do this is because it is our platform to showcase innovative, incredible companies and also the founders that get behind these companies. What I love about what we do is the founders that we work with are working 24/7 to build businesses that are not only just Australia folks, but also trying to take on international markets as well. And what they need is the capital to be able to do that. So the virtual showcases is our platform to, number one, showcase the company, and then number two, provide the platform via CRIISP for you to be able to engage, whether it be via Q&A, or also get access to the information in their deal room, and then also invest directly into the companies. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to be featuring 9 innovative companies. Now, just to go through some of the sectors and give a bit of a high level as these companies, I'm going to take you through them. So the first one is Swan Systems. Now, Swan Systems is a unique water management platform, which is really sort of, I suppose, tapping into that theme of smart cities and also IoT. And they've already got several local councils on board. And you can imagine the procurement process they would have to go through to have them as clients. Then we have LiVac, which is a unique company. It's focused on development and commercialization of surgical devices to improve surgery and also patient outcomes. Then we have Mining Projects Accelerator. Now, resources is obviously an age-old sector for Australia, but what if you could actually overlay machine learning and artificial intelligence along with sort of proven techniques to actually assist in the acceleration of identifying potential drill targets? That's the area they're focusing on. Cetic Therapeutics. Obviously, the area of medical cannabis has become very, very popular over the last few years. Well, for them, they're obviously focusing on the cultivation, the processing, and the manufacture of pharmaceutical-grade cannabinoids. In that, where it comes medicine and also the potential for infused cosmetics. Rewards for Earth, which is a sales and marketing platform which enables businesses to actually save on marketing costs and also increase their sales. As a founder myself, I know this becomes in the spotlight for us over the next sort of 12 months as we want to sort of get back to some sort of business as usual, but also expand and create more opportunities. Then we have Axichain. Now, as far as blockchain in the area of logistics has proven incredibly important, especially right now. As what we're seeing happening in the marketplace, logistics has found a really significant amount of pressure. Well, they're already proving it. They've already got customers, already in revenue, and already distributing already got sales over the seas. But what they're doing is effectively bringing farmers and international markets together and enabling that transactions to take place. To me, that's incredibly powerful. And then Bunks. You know, for a company that's created, they've designed a modern sleeping pod for the global backpacker hostels, right? To me, fascinating innovation, and also got a great story over the last 2 years, and obviously we're letting them sort of tell their story. ProAgni, one of the most interesting areas that I've found over the last few years has been the area of antimicrobial resistance. Now, it's often talked about in humans. They're tackling this in the area of animals, right? Now, what's really important about that is specifically animals for consumption. Now, that's tackling the major areas around food security, obviously the antimicrobial resistance, but more importantly also reducing emissions. Then we have Aura Australia, which is a cutting-edge technological company that develops, manufactures and commercializes unique domestic appliances that focus on and also adds an overlay of smart technology to those appliances. As I said, range of sectors, fascinating innovations. More than that, the founders that we've looked for in these companies said proven track record, great teams behind them, already invested significant capital into these businesses themselves, or have been able to raise capital already, because that's what we're looking for in the companies which we showcase. So, engaging via CRIISP. As the companies are presenting, we've made it really, really easy for you to engage via CRIISP. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the description box which has the virtual showcase page. All you need to do is simply click on that link, and then it'll take you to where you can ask a question, you can access the deal room, or you can access the profile page on Wholesale Investor. Either way, we've made it really, really simple for you to do that. If you're watching on the stream page, as the company's presenting, obviously all you have to do is just go down to the company, and then you'll see the relevant links which you can get access to their opportunity from there. So that is how you engage via CRIISP. Obviously you need to create an account. It's completely free. So obviously go and create your free CRIISP account before the presentation start. How we actually grow this ecosystem is by you sharing this. So obviously we want you to watch, enjoy, engage with the companies presenting. Following that, this is about how the way we build this ecosystem is by you telling 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 people about what we do. We know that for every high net worth involved in this ecosystem, or every professional investor, or every industry participant, there's another 10 to 15 in your network that are relevant to these companies. We've been fortunate enough to build an ecosystem of just under 30,000 across Australia, Singapore, UK, and many other parts around the world. We would love to accelerate the growth of that, because the more people in this ecosystem, the more visibility it creates, the more investment into fantastic innovative companies, the more we can actually create more opportunities around the globe. So I hope you enjoy the virtual showcase. I'm now going to introduce your host, Paula, who's going to be giving you direct introductions for the companies. Enjoy, and I look forward to joining you at the end of the event.
Up first to present is Swan Systems, a unique water management platform changing the way irrigation is managed. The system simplifies investment decisions and enables rollouts across multiple locations, and has already secured multiple government clients. Here to elaborate further on this is Rod Campbell.
Well, welcome, and thanks for the opportunity to present the Swan Systems story. I'm Rod Campbell, one of the founders of Swan, a growth company focused on smart water and nutrient management across any large-scale irrigation. To preface the presentation, there's a few key points. In our minds, clever use of data is going to be the catalyst for the step change in productivity that we all need. And Swan technology draws on years of practical experience to deliver into that step change opportunity. But let's start with all good innovation, the problem. Water security. We simply have to do more with less. The world is demanding it. There's an increasing need for food and agricultural production and a reducing water supply. Put simply, the world is demanding smarter management systems. Whether it's farmers trying to increase production with reducing water allocations, local councils trying to irrigate parks, ovals, golf courses with ever-increasing water, or water authorities looking to use other sources like treated water for irrigation. Everyone is looking for solutions. Added to that is the growing pressure under social license and this increasing need for reporting and compliance. So the solution. Swan offers a smart and proven software solution that draws on deep science, hard-earned experience, and smart technology to deliver really useful information to management to optimize their water and nutrient use. The world is awash with data to the point where people feel like they're drowning in it. The real skill and the value proposition is taking that data and turning it into management insights. That drives proactive decision-making rather than reactive responses. And the final point on the slide about anywhere, anytime access in this COVID mad times we're in, you really need to be able to access what's going on no matter where you are globally. So this remote working is an ever increasing point. So what is the secret sauce of Swan? As you can see on this slide, there's a lot going on, but the simplicity of its user interface belies the level of data that's being processed through our proprietary algorithms. SWAN is an acronym for what it does, which is the scheduling of water and nutrients, the precise determination of how much and when you need to apply irrigation and fertilizer. It's also a metaphor for how it operates. Above the waterline, sleek, elegant. Below the waterline, furiously paddling, taking in lots of different data feeds, turning it, processing it through these proprietary algorithms and really delivering great outcomes like improved yields, lower costs, and reporting and compliance. So the bottom line, essentially, is all of this generates a value proposition to the end user. So just a quick one on the team. Now, the key point here is the depth of experience, the deep domain knowledge we have across agriculture. We've come from science, economics backgrounds. Two of the founders were horticulturalists, have done a lot of work in the sector. So we've really lived and learned from being challenged by having to make better use of water. And it's that depth of experience that has gone into what we believe is very much a ground-up development of the product. So quite different from other tech players, which often come from the top down. We've lived the problem, we've developed the solution. So in many ways, that reflects on our market traction, because in a relatively short time of being commercial, we've got 30 plus customers and growing quickly. We've got customers across our key verticals, ag and hort sector. We've got Treasury Wines, Kilter Rural, ADM Almonds, Public Open Space. Melbourne City Council has been a user for around 3 years. We've recently signed Singapore Island Country Club Golf Course. That's more around compliance and that mix of nutrients and irrigation. And South Australia Water, the Water Authority, is our largest single account. And that's a lot around using treated water across agriculture and councils, parks, ovals, and having to track nutrients in that water source. So we are really excited about the customer numbers that we've developed. The challenge and the opportunity now is to really grow that base. When we look at the competitor review, because really the point of this slide shows we have such a broad offer relative to other players. And there's a couple of key points. One is we are the only system that integrates nutrients with water. And agronomically, that's really important, because you get that right. You get the fertilizer and the irrigation program right. You're 80% there on your productivity, whether it's yields, whether it's quality, whether it's plant vigor. And the other point is we're the only system that's hardware agnostic. Most software comes with proprietary hardware, and that's a very different investment decision that you have to make. We are just a piece of software that can overlay, that integrates in with what you've already got. And that's, again, really important for corporates. A lot of them have acquired properties over time, and they have different systems across just different properties. So this concept of having to change out expensive hardware so you can run some software, we're effectively disrupting that. We're disrupting this tying software to hardware. So that's, we think, a huge advantage for Swan when we look at the competitor base. So what is our model? We're a SaaS product. And a few key revenue points. It's recurring revenue. It's very sticky. We haven't lost a customer to date. It's scaled to the size of the operation. So big councils, big corporates would be a 20 to 30,000 account. Some of the smaller farms might be 10 to 15. And we're continually working on enhancements to the product. So we'll be able to upsell as things like automating the irrigation system. Talking back to controllers, which we've recently launched, was enable us to sell above the basic offer. And a few key distribution points. We've got direct sales. We've got Swan people in Adelaide, Western Australia, Perth, and we're looking to expand that across Australia. That's part of the use of funds. We're also developing our indirect sales channels. We recently signed Elders Rural, Australia's largest agri merchandiser, and we've got Watermetrics in New Zealand. So we've really got a really strong indirect sales channel, which again, we're continuing to develop. We've got some key collaboration opportunities with Telstra and Microsoft, two of the biggest in the game. So we think a really exciting position. Now the ask, we're looking to raise 2 million for a 16.6% shareholding based on a post-money valuation of 12, and the determination of that is around, we've got existing revenue. We've got annualized recurring revenue today of around 400,000. We're going to grow that to 1.7 by the end of the calendar year. And a lot of that comes from our existing customer base just expanding out. We've got a target in 3 years' time to be pushing towards 12 million ARR. We've also got an extensive intangible asset base. So the product that we built, 2 years in development, lots and lots of years of experience, 50,000 hours of coding. So the know-how, the deep domain knowledge, it all adds to our intangible asset base. The use of funds, it's predominantly directed towards commercializing. It's about fast-tracking our sales. The hard yards have been done. We've spent the last 5 years developing and trialing, commercializing this product. We're at that inflection point where the opportunity to leverage that hard work is really here and now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to really strongly grow the customer base, put on a few key people, really refine our onboarding and our digital sales and marketing campaigns. And also, as I said, we've got some great collaboration opportunities, so it's about leveraging those. It's a quick one on industry recognition. We were awarded an AC grant a few years ago, federal government Oz industry grant. It's competitive. It was a real feather in our cap and a sign of what the market or the industry was seeing as our potential. We were WA Startup of the Year a few years ago, Digital Innovator, so we are getting really good industry recognition. It's a quick one on integrations because, again, it is one of the things that makes us truly different. We are agnostic. We will talk to, we've got over 50 different pieces of hardware that we integrate with. So that's a really defining difference between what we can do. We're disrupting that tying software to hardware. We're making the investment decision really simple and offering people the ability to spread it across whatever they might have installed. So just the take homes. Swan, it's a genuinely unique, globally relevant environmental solution. We have broad market fit. We've had proven market traction, and we've demonstrated value proposition to our customers. The hard yards have been done, and now the leveraging opportunities abound. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod. Next to present is LiVac. Established in 2010, LiVac is a company focused on the development and commercialization of surgical devices to improve surgery and patient outcomes. With a device already on the market, CEO Dr. Annabella Correa will dive deeper into LiVac as an investment opportunity.
LiVac is an award-winning Australian medical devices company. It was founded by a leading general surgeon, Dr. Philip Gann, and the company is developing patented and novel surgical products that facilitate minimally invasive surgery, enhance patient recovery after surgery, improve patient outcomes, and reduce healthcare costs. Our lead product, the LiVac retractor, comprises a silicone ring attached to suction tubing. The device is positioned between the patient liver and diaphragm and enters the patient by an existing port incision. The LiVac retractor gently retracts solid organs such as the liver and minimises organ damage. All upper abdominal surgery requires the liver to be retracted to enable access to the surgical field. The LiVac retractor has achieved early sales with distributors appointed in Australia, Europe, and Asia. We've published in high-impact medical journals. We have a strong patent position with international patents granted, global regulatory approvals in all major markets, and we are currently preparing for US market entry. LiVac's second product, the LiVac Sling, is a static retractor. It's ready for development. It has applications in broad surgical markets, and together with the LiVac retractor, encompasses all organ retraction. The Nathanson retractor is the most commonly used surgical retractor today. It's a curved metal hook that requires its own incision to be made in the patient. The hook is then inserted, it's positioned under the liver and pushes the liver up against the diaphragm. The device is fixed to an external frame and it compresses blood supply to the liver during surgery. It needs to be cleaned, sterilised and repacked for use each time. It requires assembly time in theatre, and extreme caution is required when inserting the device into patients, as there are many reports of liver injury due to this type of retractor. The additional trauma caused by metal retractors during surgery increases patient pain and post-operative pain medication requirements, increasing patient length of stay and overall healthcare costs. The LiVac retractor is the only device in the world that is able to gently retract solid organs from above. It's been used more than 1,000 times around the world with no device-related complications. It's a single-use disposable device. It supports all surgical techniques, and importantly, we've shown and published that our patients leave hospital one day sooner. LiVac has a proven value proposition with improved patient outcomes, a modest learning curve, and importantly, reduced overall healthcare costs. We have a proven and scalable sales conversion journey. We work closely with key surgeons who we train across 6 to 10 procedures before approaching hospital procurement. And once approved, a surgeon will use a device up to 400 times a year. Importantly, a commercial pathway does not require reimbursement. We've proven our sales conversion journey both domestically in Australia and also overseas in Italy. LiVac is currently working to scale this model in major markets around the world, including Germany, Korea, and of course the US. As a small company, LiVac outsources its manufacturing. We then wholesale our device to distributors around the world. And those distributors add their own in-territory margin, and we continue to support them with established and ongoing training. Our overall global market opportunity is more than $2.4 billion per annum. This is based on a need of more than 12 million operations every year that require liver retraction and an average device of $200. In addition to bariatrics and gallbladder surgery, our clinical experience for the LiVac retractor has already commenced in new markets, including robotics, urology, and pediatrics. Over half of the world's bariatric procedures are performed in the US, our current target market, where there are also 1.2 million gallbladders removed every year. Healthcare costs can be greatly reduced with shorter length of stay, as we've seen and published with the LiVac retractor. Assuming that we only continue to work with our existing markets and that 20% of those markets adopt our technology, we have a genuine opportunity to achieve sales of $80 million per annum. LiVac has conducted significant market due diligence in the US. We've identified and already met with key surgeons, hospitals, global distributors, and also investors in this market. Based on these discussions, we know that we need to work closely with a small number of surgeons to achieve sales in 2 to 3 states before we start to approach high-value healthcare centres, which comprise of 10 to 30 hospitals. Once approved for sale within one hospital in that group, then the LiVac retractor will immediately become available for sale across that entire hospital network. LiVac has worked closely with its US advisors to develop a detailed US market entry plan, which is available in our data room. We have a very strong understanding of the key milestones and timelines required to enter the US market, and will execute this plan in parallel while continuing to grow our existing distributorships. We are working towards a meaningful market exit for our investors within 3 to 5 years, and are already in discussions with potential strategic exit partners. The majority of our board and management team has already delivered new products to foreign markets and is experienced in doing so. LiVac as a company has raised its funds to date from friends and family, angel networks, and high net worths, and today the company is raising $4 million. The majority of these funds will be invested in the execution of our US market plan, and successful execution of this plan forecasts a break-even point for the company in 2023. At this point, we expect our sales in the US to increase to more than 50% of LiVac's total worldwide sales. As a small Australian company, LiVac has achieved so much. It has a proven technology with a proven value proposition and strong market need. We have a proven and scalable sales conversion model, and we're seeking strategic investors to come with us on this journey as we prepare to leverage our extensive experience to enter the US and the world's largest surgical devices market. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabella. Next to present is Mining Projects Accelerator, also known as MPX. MPX enhances the traditional mining exploration and project development industry. This project accelerator utilizes cutting-edge artificial intelligence and machine learning, coupled with proven techniques to accelerate identification of drill targets throughout Australia. Here to talk about this further is Grant Wexell, Simon Cohn, and Fred Hess.
Hi, I'm Grant Wexell.
I'm Simon Cohn.
And I'm Fred Hess.
We're on the board of Mining Projects Accelerator, better known as MPX. Mining Projects Accelerator, which we know as MPX, leverages AI and machine learning to disrupt and enhance mining exploration and development in Australia, drastically shortening traditional project timeframes. Using this advantage, MPX has created a project accelerator model. This includes a number of exciting gold exploration leases in Victoria, the Northern Territory and Queensland.
The accelerator model constantly reassesses the viability of each project, ensuring commercial outcomes are maximised and spending on non-commercial projects is realised at an early stage. MPX is a foundation partner of Allfox. Allfox is a machine learning and artificial intelligence platform that allows us to use deep learning systems to reveal insights in geological data across the projects. Allfox uses the entire data set available to us, both private data and publicly available. This is too much for a geologist to look at alone. The machine learning and AI enhances this and rapidly speeds up the time that it takes to process very large amounts of data. Using Allfox shortens the cycle for MPX in between data gathering and analysis, speeding up the process for target identification and success for our projects.
For the greater part of my working life, I've been involved with exploration, and the outcomes in exploration typically have been spending lots of money and being unsuccessful. That's why I like MPX, and the approach that we're adopting here allows us to adopt a new paradigm to actually spend less money and have a far greater probability of discovering new ore bodies. The MPX board brings together individuals who each provide substantial skills that will allow us to see MPX successful in its vision. We have commercial and corporate, we have project development and operations skills, and we have the ability to commercialise our successes. Our initial exploration focus is gold. Why gold? In gold, we can take advantage of volatility. And as we've seen recently, that's led to significant price rises in Australian dollar terms. In gold, we see decreasing rates of discovery and at the same time, improving demand.
MPX holds each asset in its own entity for ease of commercialisation. These projects are either wholly owned or held in joint venture. This structure allows MPX to take a flexible approach to creating liquidity events for all investors. With the projects held in their own entities, we can look to IPO or RTO listings, trade sales or farming agreements with different partners. All the while, we are constantly introducing new projects to our pipeline, creating a series of events for investors.
The approach of MPX is to have a pipeline of projects. At the head of the pipeline, we have a half a dozen projects that we'll now take you through.
We've already started on our E79 projects in Victoria. These are the Beaufort and the Myrtleford projects, and they're strategically positioned assets to take advantage on the reinvestment into the Victorian goldfields.
In the Northern Territory, we have over 1,200 square kilometres in the Tanami region. This region is home to existing mines and a number of projects. Using our modern approach, we're going to go back and look at all of those historical workings in an attempt to find new ore bodies.
Another project in our stable is the Big Hill project in Queensland. This consists of 2 mining leases and 1 exploration lease. I've walked these leases and seen the historical mining in place, and we know from the data available that these were mined at up to 4,000 grams a tonne.
The Tansey project in Queensland was last explored back in the 1970s when gold was less than $40 an ounce. Using our modern approach, we're going to go back and look at all of those historical workings in an attempt to find new ore bodies.
From our partnership with Orfox, we've generated a number of AI targets for further exploration in Queensland. These projects sit near the town of Gympie, as well as the mines operated by Evolution. These targets are called Blackbutt, Ollenbergs and Rawdon West, and have significant historical mining in the areas and represent great opportunities for modern exploration.
We continue to explore new opportunities to add to the pipeline, and we expect that over the course of time, we will see other exciting projects added. The opportunity we present now, though, allows an investor to gain entry at the ground floor and maximise leverage to the returns that we expect will follow. And thank you for your time. If there are any questions, please contact us, and we very much look forward to doing business with you in the future.
Thanks, guys. Next to present is Rewards for Earth, a pay-per-sale marketing system which enables businesses to save on marketing costs, increases their sales, and provide more value to the end customer. Here to talk about this further is Chief Visionary Bloke Chris Bilborough.
Napoleon Hill famously said, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit." Coronavirus has caused a huge crisis, which in turn has created a huge opportunity for Rewards for Earth. We all know the issues, but let's look at it. Clubs are in dire financial strait. No money from beverage, food, no money from TV, from ticket sales or anything else. They are in trouble. Business is in trouble with closed entire industries, restaurant, airlines, hotel, Airbnb. It's all basically stopped. Car sales are down 48.5%. Sharpest decline since records were kept. To say it's a sluggish economy and needs a kickstart, that's probably the understatement of the century. Where does that leave us? Well, businesses need sales. That goes without saying, and lots of them. And they'll be prepared to try new things to get them. Clubs need revenue because they need to survive, and their revenue has been taken. But clubs have very loyal supporters, and those supporters do everything they can to support the clubs. I'm not just talking about sports club here, but I'm talking about churches, I'm talking about charities, where they can all capitalise and monetise the loyalty from their supporters. We do that through new technology, where we allow any club or charity to rebadge our app so it looks like their own. That then enables them to be a couple of things. First of all, we're a discount app for supporters. We're a loyalty system for supporters where they can get points. Now our points are exchange traded, Earth points, on international exchanges. So we've got a real value for the point so that everybody knows what it is worth. The businesses buy it to reward their customers. The clubs sell it to monetize their loyalty. We're a marketing app for businesses where it's not pay per sale. It's not pay per click, it's pay per sale, where businesses only have to pay on sales made, not for the potential thousands of clicks where they make no sales. We're also a passive income generator for clubs, where we enable them to monetize their loyalty, which is something very unique. We're not talking about a loyalty system where they come back and get points for buying a meal and then they can use them to buy a new meal. We're talking about generating loyalty from every business in the world that's part of the system. We can also offer marketing opportunities for the business where we can direct the supporters to different businesses, giving them the directions. But what's that mean to the clubs? Well, a small club like a little netball club with 100 parents all getting $1 a week each, that's $100 to the club. But if you look at a large club or a church or a charity where they have 100,000 supporters, then if the supporter gets $1 each week, then the club gets 100,000 times that, which is $100,000 per week. That's a lot. What about businesses? Well, we've got a system where we can bring on many businesses. We've already tested the system. We brought on the Good Guys. We brought on Qatar Airlines. And we're able to convert 83% of the businesses. We've got a secondary system which enables us to work as a redemption system. So bringing on businesses is really only a technical thing. Very simple, very easy, doesn't need people door knocking. How much is that yearly to the clubs? Well, very simple. 100 members getting $1 each is $5,200 a year. They got $2 each, which they could get from a cup of coffee, buying the occasional fridge, buying the tyres, getting their hair done, going out to restaurants. Basically every business. Just $2 a week is $10,000 to that club, which would be double or triple their past year's budget. For a large AFL or NRL club, that could be $5 to $10 million per year, which is more than their largest sponsors. Now, clubs love it. We've been in initial discussions with one of the major sporting clubs and a few people from the other types of clubs. They want to be part of it because they get residual income. We've also partnered with Oracle Corporation worldwide with most of the large organisations, Fortune 500 companies. They want to bring on their partners. As an example, they would like to introduce us to Manchester United, which has 659 million supporters globally, according to a quick Google search. But they've also introduced us to other partners, and one of them is a major fintech partner. They've got 40,000 merchants doing $20 billion worth of trade, and they want us to be part of everything as their loyalty system. Now, that means also an alternative payment system. So the merchants would ask, how would you like to pay with that? Normal Visa card, American Express, or Apple Pay, or PayPal, or Earth Points. It's that big. They also want to bring on their first not-for-profit in Australia with 2 million members. They currently spend $200,000 a month on text messages. We can save them a fair percentage of that. They want to be on board. They've got a global custom with 20 million members they want to bring in board. I've had initial discussions with some of Australia's largest retailers, and we can bring all of those on board, and we're already bringing on a lot of them through one particular system, which we will go on to here, but we can explain it to you. One of the big benefits is Pulsar, which is what the Rewards for Earth Foundation is all about, which is repairing the planet, which gives everybody a secondary benefit. Plastic capture and recycle, ocean cleanup and rejuvenation, local causes, bushfire, flood, all of those sort of things for each country. We're also going to be helping endangered species preservation, clean energy technology, education on how to repair the planet and live sustainably, reforestation and tree planting. All of this is what every person, every club and every business wants. In summary though, we give customers a better deal, we give customers reward points, we give businesses more sales, a marketing system for businesses as an alternative, which is a pay per sale, not per click system. Businesses love it because they only have to pay on sales. That is a game changer by itself. So we save businesses money on that marketing system. But we're also monetizing loyalties for clubs, charities, churches, schools, helping them out to have a residual passive income for themselves, probably greater than their whole budget. It's also a massive data system because we get data on people's spending habits, on the sales made, not on what people search for. Very valuable data. And we can match a club to a business, such as high-end clubs to Mercedes-Benz. If you've got any interest, please contact David Jenkins on 0412 404 134 or email him at david@rewards4earth. Welcome aboard and thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Up next is Axichain, an international trading platform overcoming the barriers of connecting farmers to international buyers. Utilizing simplified digitized processes, Axichain is a platform that has automated 57 steps all the way down to 3 when it comes to exporting from farms. Here to talk further about this is Managing Director Linda Ford.
Hi, my name is Linda Woodford and I'm the founder and CEO of Axichain. And today I want to walk you through how Axichain is empowering our farmers with the next generation global trading exchange. The Axichain software solution literally sits in the middle between producers and international buyers. In short, a farmer can stand in his paddock or her paddock and with a few clicks of the button can negotiate and trade with international markets. How did the Axichain idea come about? My background is in commodity transacting, and I identified there are 3 key areas that are problematic when trying to do a commodity transaction. And these problematic areas can create fraud and failure within a transaction. Number 1, how do you find your next buyer or supplier for a trusted international trading partner? If I'm a farmer and I'm standing in my paddock, how do I know for sure the buyer is going to pay for my goods? And if I'm a buyer, how do I know for sure that that supplier is going to deliver the products to the specifications that I require? Number 2, it's a highly complex process and highly paper driven. In a beef commodity transaction, if you include all the paperwork, there can be up to 30 documents in one transaction. Number 3, the payment process. Letters, instruments such as the letter of credit is 10 steps, 4 banks, it's slow, it's costly, and your foreign exchange rate is typically not awesome. The global trade finance gap is $1.5 trillion, with 60% of trade finance requests from small businesses being refused by the banks. As we got into developing and working on these 3 areas, we discovered there are 2 more. And those are, because we are in food, we identified there is a requirement for track and trace and authentication of that data. Due to diseases such as the coronavirus, mad cow, and swine flu, more and more people want to know where their food has come from, the quality of that food, and the journey that it's been on. So identifying that that animal came from this paddock and it's tracked all the way through the system, but it's also, the data is authenticated. So this is highly important in today's age. Number 5 is logistics. It's still a very old and slow process. Axichain has calculated that we have taken what is a 57-step process if you were standing in your paddock to a 3-step process. The Axichain solution is an ecosystem in one. So essentially we've taken, we've the farm data, we've got pre-vetted buyers and suppliers, which leads into online negotiations with our smart contract, real-time payment solutions with fintech that provides a better FX rate, document management, bill of lading, and automated freight and logistics, all on a blockchain platform. How does it work from left to right? So we collect the data with our farm management tools. That is then, in the livestock, it's moved via our mobile national vendor declaration through the system into the sales tool. The sales tools allows 3-step process. So the farmer can list a product, negotiate a product, and then complete a smart contract. The freight and logistics is a real-time process, which is hands-free for the users. Axichain manages the physical process of moving the animal through the process and out to the other side. Our first trial was last year in June. So just to back up a little bit, we actually started coding in November 2018. And last June, we did our first trial with Macca's. And you can see here, there's a few screenshots of completing that transaction of a 40-foot container of beef to China. What is the market? The Australian beef export market is a $10 billion market. Axichain's immediate attainable market is 117 million. We've also been asked to do other markets, and right now we're putting in the lamb vertical, which is a $3.57 billion industry. And future markets such as honey, we've been asked, I've actually been called up by a mate of mine from New Zealand to see if we can put honey in. So they're very excited about that. Market adoption. So we're working with a number of affiliates and societies. Farm Tender is one of them. They have 40,000 farmers, and we're starting to capture farmers within our system from these particular affiliates. Victorian Farmers Limousine, Victorian Farmers Federation, Limousine Society, and TSBE. The Victorian Farmers Federation have partnered with us, and some of their key leaders have recently joined with us to help fly the flag for Axichain, which we're quite excited about. Our branded suppliers are Macca's and Harmony, and we're also working with a distribution chain in Vietnam, which is the only cool fridge freeze supply chain system within Vietnam. Market opportunities. Last year, 7.4 million head of adult cattle were processed last year, and 4.3 million head went via a sale yard. That means 60% of the cattle sold went via a sale yard. And that means that during this sort of COVID issue that we have at the moment, some of the cattle sale yards have closed down, and it could be that they're closed for some time. The Axichain software system allows farmers to list product and bypass the sale yard process. Some of the fears from producers is that sale yards can be potential disease breeding grounds, and they're looking for other ways to move their product through the supply chain system without going via a sale yard. Another opportunity is with our mobile national vendor declaration. Currently, there are 64.2 million paper declarations done per annum in this country. We're moving livestock. Axichain has finished and completed the digital mobile national vendor declaration, which we are just waiting on sign off from the MLA, and we expect to release that into the market in the next couple of weeks, which we're very excited about. The national vendor declaration costs farmers $2 each. The Axichain software solution will cost the farmer 45 cents, and that's a 70% saving to the farmers. It also reduces $163 million of industry losses due to poorly filled in paperwork that is often borne by the abattoir industry. Our competition. So our competition, all the green dots, yes, of course. And the reason we have all the green dots is because we've delivered products such as the Mobile National Vendor Declaration. We are leading in that area. We're also working with a billion-dollar fintech, and we work with those guys that give us exchange rates that are 3 to 4 times better than the big 4 banks. We have an escrow type transparency system. So that gives the farmers the confidence that they can see the money and that they're going to get paid. We also have a digital management system, which has not been done before. Our team, we are a team of 16 now, and some of the highlights here, obviously, Tim Burgess has been 20 years in selling meat to the international markets. Ian Chan, who's my right hand and co-founder, he has been a senior consultant and delivering products for over 18 years. And Andrew, who's led the Mobile National Vendor Declaration development and has strong connections with the MLA, has helped deliver that. Ben Herrera is our payment and FX specialist, and he helps me with our Australian financial services licenses and much of the compliance that we're required to do. Kieran is ex-JP Morgan, and he led the R&D on blockchain and smart contract for JP Morgan. Our revenue sources, we have a $59 a month subscription fee for both suppliers that are listing products and buyers that wish to trade product. We charge a 2% transaction fee to the producer, and on the shipping, we are working with 4 shipping lines, and we have negotiated good rates with the shipping lines and are allowed, we can tuck 10% in there and still provide a better price to our producers that they wouldn't normally get if they were to get shipping on their own. Our $100 a month farm management tool is for when we complete all of the farm management tools. 1% matching fee, that's when we match buyers and suppliers for the first time. And a 0.5% FX rate we've negotiated with our fintech. 2019, we delivered 4 containers of beef to China, and we're onboarding our affiliates was earlier this year, and our MNVD we completed last month, and we're just waiting for the MLA sign off. Now June is we're putting in our lamb. We've actually already started doing that, and our beta launch is expected August later this year. Currently, we're looking to raise $2 million at a post-money valuation of $15 million. Our funds distribution for the next 12 to 18 months, 30%, 36% is for sales and marketing, and 64% is technology. And basically, this is the summary here. Myself as the founder and CEO, and you can see the points there. We're looking to raise $2 million and access markets such as China, Vietnam, Japan, and Indonesia. I'd like to thank you for your time, and I look forward to meeting you in the future.
Thank you, Linda. Next to present is 2-year-old startup Smart Bunks that has designed a modern sleeping pod for global backpacker hostels to replace the decades-old metal bunk. With the ambitious yet realistic mission to become recognized as the new standard bunk bed for backpacker accommodation, here to speak further to this is Damien Pallett and Donald Sutherland.
Hello, my name is Damien Pallett. I'm the inventor, CEO and co-founder of Smart Bunks, a Sydney-based Australian company with a new product which is very exciting for the hostel industry. And it comes from my background as a backpacker ages ago when I was in my 20s. I travelled a lot in Europe, stayed in a lot of backpacker hostels, and then I came to Australia in the year 2000 and stayed in more hostels. And then recently, 3 years ago, I stayed in a hostel again and realised that the same problems still occur. That is squeaky bunk beds, metal, old style, uncomfortable, no privacy or security or technology. And it gave me an idea, and this is basically on the slide that you've got there is what the old dorms look like with the metal bunk beds. And Smart Bunks is a more ergonomically designed sleeping pod designed to replace them that has smart TV in it and phone chargers and a suitcase-sized locker so that people can lock all of their belongings away underneath it, and a safe inside it to put their jewellery and their passports, etc., as well as USBs and privacy curtains, and there's many benefits of our product over the old style bunk bed. People get to sleep better, sleep in the darkness, it's more cosy, it's more private, it's more secure, and obviously the technology is very important to the 18 to 30 sector nowadays with their devices and their addiction to online and apps and Netflix and all these things that they love. So it was a great idea, one which has led to a fantastic business in the making, of which we're now ready for investment. So the pictures that you've got there is the prototype version 1 and 2. The first one, we were manufacturing our own plywood in quite an expensive manner here in Australia, where we actually formed the plywood ourselves. and then laminated it. And our version 2 product is actually much cheaper to manufacture and much more profitable. And we've just mastered that in February just gone. So I'm very pleased to say that the use of off-the-shelf laminated plywood and chipboard and composite materials that we've been well advised by our latest team of engineers has indeed led us to a more easy to flat pack, easy to construct by any handyman, like building an IKEA wardrobe, for example, would be a good analogy as to how much easier they are to manufacture and to install on site all around the world. So we've done our prototyping, which we've invested almost $2 million so far, believe it or not, on the R&D of the first 3 years of this business. And now I'm going to hand you over to Donald, who's going to go into the size of the market and the financials and what we're looking for.
Bunks has a global opportunity, and it's estimated that there are in excess of 20,000 hostels globally, the largest of which is Hostelry International, with some 4,000 hostels and approximately 1.2 million beds across the world. We are presently focused on the global hostel industry, but there are other equally lucrative sectors such as student accommodation, which we may address in later development of the business. But importantly, as you can see, the hostel industry by 2023 is expected to grow to 7.5 billion, which is extremely lucrative. So what will we use our invested capital for? So we're looking to raise an equity stake of 5 million for a 33.3% stake in the business, and that will take us to a revenue generating and profitability phase. To date, we've achieved a number of key important milestones. As Damien mentioned, the development of our Smart Bunk version 1 prototype, and lately the version 2 prototype, which is a considerable enhancement acquired from the learnings of our 18-month journey on the product development side. We have a suite of intellectual patent protection rights, and we can provide more information on that. So we have strong intellectual property protection. Through our extensive marketing, both domestically in Australia and overseas at the 2 major international hostel exhibitions, we have received numerous expressions of interest and approximately 100 web inquiries from a very mediocre website that we developed 2 years ago, and that's without any digital marketing whatsoever. We've actually got a number of hostel trials, sales ready to commence, and we're almost through the European standards testing, although we do have to do the testing again for our version 2 product. But we aim to be in a position, post the pandemic and business recovery, to be in a strong position with a product ready to supply in volume at a target price that will be very appealing to the market. So the Smart Bunks use of funds, in summary, is importantly, once we start installing hostel installations, which we would like to do at the end of this year, and we may have a deferred payment plan to encourage hostels to take up adoption given the business conditions. In parallel, it's important we do establish our overseas manufacturing, and we want to also begin the process, and I'll touch on briefly, about the opportunity we have to develop a digital enablement platform within the confines of a Smart Bunk product. That in itself could be an extremely lucrative business model. We also have an opportunity, and discussions have taken place over the last 12 months or so, to look at further product types and a possibility as a plastic injection molding using a proportion of recycled product. And we believe that can be achieved at a very lucrative unit cost. So sales and marketing obviously are a key part of our development as well, as is ongoing product development. And we have a number of new product designs awaiting funding, ready to commence new versions. So on to the important question of financials. We have provisioned for commencing sales over 2021 through to 2023. We're projecting unit sales, which we believe is conservative next year, of 2,500 units. increasing to 7,500 in 2022, and by 2023, 15,000 units. And that returns a very healthy EBITDA of 16 million. We believe that given the size of the market, we think that that is readily achievable. And it makes the business proposition of Smart Bunks, we believe, a very attractive investor proposition. And we can provide a very detailed financial plan and costing analysis to any interested investor. So the idea that we have to develop from thousands of backpackers staying in hostels that have Smart Bunks is to develop a data capture platform that we have designed as a concept called Bunkit. We would hope to begin development of the Bunkit idea in the next few months, subject to funding. And the idea basically is to allow tour and activity bookings for Smart Bunks, push special offers, provide an opportunity for Smart Bunks to find out where their next bunk is, and an advertising revenue stream is also possible as well. So that is a digital enabling platform which makes Smart Bunk more than just a bunk bed. We hope you will find the investment proposition that we've just gone through very compelling, and we look forward to receiving any questions to Damien and I that you might have post this presentation. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks, guys. Up next is ProAgni, a company focused on using agricultural biotechnology to improve the economic outcomes for producers. The same technology concurrently tackles key global challenges, such as food security, antimicrobial resistance, and reducing emissions. Here to talk further about this opportunity is Commercial Director Warren Lee.
I'm Warren Lee and I'm the Commercial Director of ProAgni. With so much focus on food safety and food security at the moment, it's a privilege to give you this short intro to ProAgni. We are a revenue-producing Australian Agri Biotech company that is committed to developing products to decrease the environmental footprint of food production without decreasing the cost of that production. This is an overview of our markets, and in particular, the growing need for abundant, cheap food with a smaller environmental footprint, and of our products that address that need. As the world's population has grown, and many of the world's countries have become richer, the demand for red meat has globally expanded. In the US alone, beef is now a $70 billion industry, and China has been the fourth largest producer and consumer of beef in the world. This demand for more production is expected to continue. And, like everything, the market doesn't just want abundance, it wants things cheaper. The industrialization of agriculture created the ability to produce abundant food relatively cheaply, so that growing demand was satisfied at generally affordable prices. But while industrializing agriculture solved that problem, how to produce a lot relatively cheaply, it created other problems. One of those problems is that abundant production in industrialized systems is heavily dependent on antibiotics. About 70 to 80% of the antibiotics used globally are fed to animals. And they're generally not fed to sick animals, they're fed to promote growth, and they're fed to stop animals becoming sick. The problem with that is that as bacteria get exposed to these antibiotics, they increasingly become immune. So antibiotic resistance has emerged as one of the biggest threats to global health, food security, and development today. And the inputs to industrial agriculture is one of the primary causes of that. Responding to this threat The food industry wants meat that's cleaner, but they're not willing to give up on cheap abundance. So for example, McDonald's, Costco and Subway have all announced antibiotic reduction targets that will apply to their entire supply chains. At the consumer end, people are increasingly voting with their wallets. We saw in the US that the antibiotic-free chicken market went from about 3% of the total market to 40% in only 5 years. And regulators are increasingly playing a role both in the EU and in the US. So now, food needs to be abundant, it still needs to be cheap, but now it needs to be clean. This is a little bit like that old software development thing, good, fast and cheap. You can have any two, but you can't have all three. But the market is demanding all three. Currently, with large-scale production systems, cheap and abundant always comes at the cost of clean. And without new products and new methods, decreasing antibiotic use increases production costs and decreases production volumes, attacking both the abundance and the cost. Without a new approach, and unless farming can wean itself from a reliance on antibiotics, farmers who can't deliver cheap abundance with cleanliness will face the following. They'll have fundamentally three choices. They can chase an increasingly competitive upmarket segment that's willing to pay a price premium for clean. They can either ride a downward price spiral and stay with a market segment that will buy primarily on price, or they can face the third threat here, which is increasing reliance on other food products, cutting them out of the market. The opportunity here is if producers can clean up their production methods and remove antibiotics without reducing production efficiency, everyone in the food chain wins. Production stays abundant, it stays cheap, and it becomes increasingly clean. And that's where ProAgni fits in. Our patent pending Protect range removes antibiotics without increasing production costs. In fact, in many cases, it can reduce production costs. Protect is currently available through rural resellers and has fed millions of animals to date and removed hundreds of kilos of antibiotics from the food system. It does not carry a price premium into other products. ProAgni also has probiotics in development, which can again significantly decrease production costs without adding more antibiotics into the system. Results from the Protect range have been validated by the University of New England and by the Thomas Elder Institute and by a number of commercial trials with large-scale producers. Our results in respect of the probiotic range have been validated by the Queensland Department of Agriculture and Fisheries. We know our science. In cattle, we've shown that Protect can provide 20% increases in feed efficiency, 20% faster growth, which leads to a 20% lower cost of gain to the producer, and take antibiotics out of the system at the same time. In sheep, the gains are even stronger, with up to 40% increases in feed efficiency, which is the ultimate measure of whether the business works. We've been recognised as a finalist in the National Carbon Coggy Awards, as the winner of the Meat and Livestock Association's Pitch in the Paddock, and more recently as the winner of the Global Edison Award for Innovation. Pivot Bio, a company that raised $100 million in the US recently, came second in that award. We're also proud to be a signatory to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. But it kind of really doesn't matter what we say. Our customers are our best salespeople. And we're proud to be supporting the industry in delivering cheap and abundant food without the use of antibiotics. At ProAgni, we believe in improving farm economics today and ensuring farming sustainability for tomorrow. We believe that you can have your stake and eat it. Thank you.
Thank you, Warren. Next to present is Aura, a cutting-edge technological company that develops, manufactures, and commercializes unique domestic cooking appliances that combine smart technologies with innovative features. With outcomes that contribute to energy saving and sustainability, this company is building a set of appliances that satisfy current and future needs. Here to talk further about this opportunity is Executive Director Ottavio Cimino.
Ora is an innovative company. It has been constituted to commercially exploit the business model that involves development, manufacturing, commercialization of a range of world-first and in some cases revolutionary domestic cooking appliances under the Ora brand for the international market. In recent time, we have developed and manufactured a world-first 90-centimeter freestanding stove that features an energy-saving double cooking chamber, which have been popular with the consumers. We have been successful in obtaining grant from the Australian and European government, and to date, we have continued investing in research and development for the technologies we are proposing in this business plan. We have made contact with highly prestigious retailers like Winnings in Australia and John Lewis in the UK. Ora is a unique business model and is based on a revolutionary product range that no other competitors around the world are currently either manufacturing or marketing. Ora product range include 11 world-first products, in some cases revolutionaries, like a smart control induction heating oven and smart control hermetic induction heating oven that offer, compared to the competition, 30% saving in energy and cooking time, while improving and cooking results. No microwaves are used in this technology. Another revolutionary product in our range is the Smart Gas Touch Control Hob that is equipped with a unique mechatronic triple valve safety system and the world's first self-diagnostic malfunction reporting system. Our range would also has noise reduction opportunity by utilizing new material science metamaterial. Our freestanding stove will be using the oven and hobs technology that I just mentioned. Ora owns its intellectual property and relating to the technology and the product, and it will be protected by 7 patents and 2 registered designs. Our core market include Western Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and finally US and Canada. The business model is strictly based on an ecological sustainability, covering energy saving, reduction in emission, consumers' well-being, that covers health and living spaces, and it adheres to the circular economy. Ora product range are aligned with market trend and readiness, and is focused on exploiting the commercial opportunity while satisfying the current and future wants and needs of consumers. In order to successfully penetrate and establish Ora brand in a mature saturated market like domestic cooking appliance segment, Ora business model has been based on several strategies that aim to minimize and control commercial risk while maximizing the commercial opportunity to achieve higher ROI to its investors and the sales channel operator. The relevant strategies that are important to mention are related to control technology and product development, control production, control marketing strategy, and the strategic company location. The control and freedom to develop innovative technology and unique product, include ownership of IP, are critical in order to create and protect market advantage over the competitors. The control manufacturing is also critical for production scheduling, IP protection, quality control, and manufacturing efficiency. The control of marketing strategy is also very, very important in monitoring market conditions and its operator performance. Ora will invest to build the brand and will commercialize it through a diversified venue to market, including retailers, builders, affluent interior designers, with a gross margins of 69%.
The company's structure will be located in Netherlands, Slovenia, and Australia. This structure has been conceived to maximize the following: tax benefit, government grant opportunity in Europe, grant opportunity, in Europe and Australia, high quality components and supplies in Italy, product distribution and brand perception benefit. The product will be marked made in Europe. In the Netherlands, there will be holding company, two subsidiaries, one for R&D of final product and one to commercialize the product in Central Europe and North Europe. A trading company will be set up in Slovenia, where the company will do the assembly of the final product near the Italian border and near to the highly qualified Italian suppliers. The two Australian subsidiaries will be included, one R&D for the technology R&D activity and one to commercialize the product in Australia and New Zealand. Aura has planned to submit a product development project for a total of 2.3 million euros for the next 2 years. In the next 5 years, Aura plans to achieve a wholesale revenue of about 55 million euros, which represents 0.31% of the target market, with a projected EBITDA of 19 million. Aura aims for relatively sophisticated small niche market shares that large manufacturers find difficult or uneconomical to exploit commercially. The company is currently seeking 3 million euros of investment for 25% stake in the company, negotiable in various forms of finance. The expected ROI for the investment is 664% for the next 5 years of starting from the date of investment. This investment, together with 1.6 million euros of government grants and so forth, will be used to finance product development, marketing, production, and sales. Furthermore, Aura has the innovation prerequisite to qualify for ATO, Early Stage Innovation Company, which represents a 20% tax incentive for the Australian investors. The company will start selling 11 months from the date of new funds will be available. In the meantime, we will undertake product development, manufacturing, setup, marketing, and sales activity. Regarding the COVID-19 crisis, Aura business plan is not conditions or relies on any consumption, the market demand during the 2020 and early 2021. In fact, during this period, Aura plans to be active in research and development, assembly product factory setup, marketing activity, and pre-commercialization activity. The product launch is being planned for April 2021, and the product delivery has been planned for August 2021. Market trends and ecological problems will still prevail after this crisis.
Thank you for joining us for the Wholesale Investor Virtual Showcase. We hope you enjoyed the 9 presentations today. From here, we encourage you to directly contact with the companies. If you're currently watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the description box, which when you click on it, that will take you to the virtual showcase page. In that, it'll have a list of all the companies which presented from today. From there, you can either obviously ask a question directly, you can contact them, you can register your interest, and that will be taken care of from their side. From our side, as I mentioned earlier in my introduction, how we grow is via the ecosystem. In your networks, there'll be 10 to 15 people that are relevant to this space that are interested in investing into innovative private companies or small cap listed companies. We want to provide them with access to these opportunities, whether it be virtually or in the future, whether in live opportunities. So from here, please provide them with information, give them access, help them register on our website. Also, I recommend you subscribe to our YouTube channel and give it the thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining us for the Wholesale Investor Virtual Investor Showcase. Thank you.